Mancode 100.
You got it. What up, y'all? What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Mancode 100. Hope everybody is having an amazing day so far. It's an amazing Thursday. I have a super dope guest that is coming on today. Somebody that is, truly a blessing to me. Somebody who has been a brother to me. Somebody who has been a friend, a confidant. Somebody who has held me accountable. Somebody who has seen me, the highest of the highs, but then the lows of the lows. But somebody who's never judged me. So I can't wait. And he has an amazing story. What up, Beck? He has an amazing story, and I can't wait for you guys to actually hear his story and just talk about, what manhood means to him, what the man code means. And so for those of you that have never been into one of our rooms, the Mancode 100, the Mancode 100 is an idea that came into my heart probably maybe 6 months ago. I started this journey and this movement of men. I went through just some trying times, and I personally did not trust the people that, was opening themselves up to me. I had some maturing to do. I had some growing up to do. And what was really right in my face, I wasn't honest with myself. I didn't trust the process enough to allow the men that were around me and the men that really truly loved me, like my father, my brother, to just kind of help me navigate. And so because of that, I went through a journey all by myself. And I decided that I no longer want any other brother, no matter where he is, globally, a global movement to where men can have a safe space. What's up, Ant? Men can have a safe space to come into. What up, Shell, my little brother? Men can have a safe space to come into and not be judged, not feel pressured, not feel like, they are being measured, but just a safe space. And so Brothers United of Atlanta was created 5 years ago. And from there birthed the Bridge Project. And the Bridge Project is a collection of men coming together, promoting brotherhood, unity, community, just a movement upholding the culture codes and the lifestyle standards of manhood. As I've always said, I believe that when man was created, there was a set of rules and guidelines and responsibilities that came with him. And, that's what this show is about. We are discussing the man codes, like what truly is the man code. The man code is really, truly looking out for your brother. The man code is being your brother's keeper. The man code is sharpening your brother by any means necessary. And as I said on the last show, it's not being my brother's keeper of secrets. However, it is just shielding that brother from some of the things that he may not even see he's entering into. Being whatever you have to be when your brother calls you, or even if he don't call you, even if he doesn't call you, just preparing yourself to abide by a certain level of rules and guidelines and just the way you move. And then the 100 piece is transparency is key. I remember when I was kind of coming out of my situation, the first thing I had to do was admit to myself that I was operating below the standard, that there was more of me that I could even give myself, let alone trying to give somebody else. So, I'm out on the road, I'm performing. We got all these accolades and all of these awards and everybody cheering your name, but then you're going home to chaos. You're going home by yourself because now family has been disrupted because of my inability to really live up to this man code. And so what this show is, we're talking about all of the codes that man should abide by. There's been a disconnect. And so we're talking and discussing about, reconnecting the mindsets of men. And how do we do that? We do that by conversing. We have to be able to have real conversations and being 100. I think when I look at all of the components of the man code, one of the ultimate is being transparent, being 100 with each other. A lot of times, because we compare ourselves all the time. Like, I don't know where this competing stuff came from, where this crabs in the basket mindset came from, when we should be pushing each other upward. Because the mindset should be, if you get there, I have no doubt in my mind that if you get out, I'm getting out. Because once you get out, it's only a matter of time before you figure out how to get me out too. But sometimes the thinking is the opposite. Let me just get me out and everybody worry about yourself. If I figured it out myself, then you figure yours out. Because while you're figuring it out, I'm going to be out here winning. But the beauty of brotherhood and the power of manhood is when we come together, moving as a collective. You know, when I talk about the Bridge Project, yeah, I could have done an album by myself, but it has so much more power, so much more weight to it, because I am by 54 other men. Now imagine, he brings his toolbox. He brings his toolbox. I bring my toolbox. They bring their toolbox. There's nothing we can't fix. There's nothing we can't discover. There's nothing that we can't share. And so that is today's topic. Today's topic is, how do you take what you have and what you have acquired to inspire, to share, and to, in some cases, give your brother a leg up, right? Why can't we operate in access? Why we gotta barely make it? Yo, how you doing today, bro? Man, I'm just, I'm bad. Nah, I want your cup to be full, bro. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna give you some just because. Ultimately, you know, we're talking about top line thinking, and there's a lot of work that we have to do. But I envision a world where, and call me whatever you want to call me, but this is just how much pride I walk around with. This is how much belief I have in men. I believe that there is a day that men are going to think top line, and it's because of what we're doing with Mancode, is what we're doing with Brothers United. It's what the other organization down the street is doing. It's the men's group at the church. It's the guys that are having real talk at the barbershops and at the coffee shops. We have to start having top line conversations, not the conversation about what kind of car you drive or who you smashed last night or who checking for you. I mean, that stuff is cool. But the stuff that we need to start talking about is generational wealth, overall happiness, overall peace, family, community. Those are the things, man, that we are the leaders of and that we should be operating in terms of leadership. Because I always, you'll hear me repeat this time and time again, from interviews to even if you just talk to me on a regular. When men operate at optimum level, everything wins. Things may be struggling now or barely making it because the leader, the head, is weak. So imagine the world where all the nuts and bolts of man are screwed tightly. No airways, no air pockets for anything to seep through. A wall and a force field that is impenetrable. Feet standing solid on the ground because you know exactly who you are. And you're not going to compromise or succumb to what society has deemed the code. I believe that's what's wrong with manhood right now. We're living by codes of the media. We're living by codes of what my man them had said. We're living by the code that came off the movies. We're living by codes that are just disconnected from the original codes that came with us when we were created. There's certain levels of codes that we are to abide by on a daily basis. And I promise you guys, the moment we reconnect with that, the moment we start to truly have real conversations more consistently, Not just this one, not just that one, but in general, then we'll start to see the manhood culture and men all over the globe upholding this true standard of the man code. Not, I said on the last episode, I grew up thinking that the man code was, New Jack City. Am I my brother's keeper? All right, well, help me do this. So help me break the law. Or help me keep my secret because I'm cheating on my wife. Or, man, don't tell nobody, man. We're going to take this to the grave. That's what I thought man code was. So I can remember when the movie came out, going into school talking, yo, am I my brother's keeper? Are you my brother's keeper? Well, if you my brother's keeper, give me that pencil off the desk. Knowing that it's not mine. And then based off of the friend willing or not being unwilling to give me that pencil, I decided if he was upholding the man code. Well, as I mature and as you get older, you start to realize different things, start to put things in perspective. And so that is what the Man Code 100 is. It is having real conversations, reestablishing, reconnecting the codes of man, but also keeping it 100 in doing so. So I met my brother about 10 years ago, and this is how I believe man should operate. I heard a track, and I may be telling the story wrong, Marcus, so you can chime in, but let me introduce you real quick. So this is my brother, y'all, super producer, incredible songwriter, video director, photographer, engineer, mixer, artist, author, entrepreneur, business owner, band music MD, app developer, all of those things, y'all. But let me tell you the thing that I love all of those things about my brother. But the thing that I love the most is he is just a real brother. Like, he's a real big brother. Always willing to just stand firm on what he believes. Always willing to, just walk the walk as he's talking it, but he walks it. But in all of those things, man, this is my brother. And as I said earlier, we've been through the highs and the lows. We've been able to have very tough conversations at times, those uncomfortable kind of conversations, but that's a part of how men are supposed to operate, being able to have the tough conversations and still go grab some lunch afterwards. So, world, I want to introduce to you my brother, my friend. I call him, not that I call him this, but he is a bona fide genius. There's nothing that I don't believe my brother knows. If I have any issues with anything, first person I'm calling is Marcus. Hey, bro, how you do this? You know how to do this? You know how to do this? I call him the one-man geek squad because he knows everything. But, man, world, please welcome to the Man Code 100, my brother, Marcus Devine. What's up, bro?
What up, bro, man? Thanks for having me today, baby.
I love it, man. I love it. So, listen, man, let's just jump right into it, man. Give everybody a little bit of the Marcus Devine story. Like, who is Marcus Devine?
You basically summed it up, though. Like, I don't know what to say. You got a couple things I gotta live up to. I just wanted to say that one thing, and then you've been on me about writing a book.
Yeah.
Basically, all those things, man. I'm just one of those people who I never see the wall for what it is. I always feel like there's a break in the wall. So if it's something hard, I always feel like I can figure it out. So that's just me. You know what I mean?
So we both live in the music industry and have been for years. You and I have private conversations questioning why people move the way they move, right? That is something that seriously baffles the both of us. Because you're such a giver, Marcus, talk about like where does that come from? Why are you so giving? I don't believe you're just that way with me. I believe if anybody called you to say, hey, Marcus, can you help X, Y, Z? You'll do exactly for them in the way that I feel like you do. What does that come from? Why are you like that? in an industry where it's not that way all the time?
Not at all. Well, one thing is I've always walked my own walk. Like you said earlier, you know what I mean? I stand firm, and I've been like that since I was little. Like, not bragging, but I've never smoked weed before.
Mm-hmm.
In my life, when I had all my friends, like, you pump. I'm like, I'll be the pump. You know what I mean? But I just always make my own decisions. So, being a giver, I realized a long time ago, that's a universal law and not a Bible law. Just a Bible law that if you give, you'll receive. But it's universal. You know what I mean? So, and I'm really selfish with it, though. Like, I get off on it. I think we had that talk before, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of times people give, and it's just about the other person. But a lot of times it's about me, the joy I get from seeing somebody excited about what I give to them.
Talk about what's going on in the mindset of those brothers that aren't as freely to give, aren't as freely to assist, lend a helping hand.
I think the number one thing is insecurity most of the time. And giving is not just money, but it's giving a shot. It's giving a little way through the door that you may have open for yourself. And a lot of times we don't want to let nobody in because it's like, oh, you're going to take my spot. Not understanding if more of us in there, we own a spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did a meme yesterday. I didn't even put it up. It's called, it says, F the GOAT, I want the herd. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about who's the greatest of all time. I want a whole bunch of great people with me, as opposed to the greatest of all time. Because I feel like when we pick the greatest of all time, we tell everybody else, you can't be this great. So,
We just came off of the Babyface and Teddy Riley versus. And speaking of what you just talked about, so many people came from that as, oh, Face killed him. Oh, Teddy, man, Teddy killed him. Oh, Teddy finna knock him out now. Oh, Face about to knock him out. Do you think that plays a part in why sometimes we're not as unified as we are? Anytime there's an opportunity to create competition or separation, people just jump right into it.
yeah, and the black community, that's literally what we do with everything, yo. You can't even go to the barbershop without saying who got the best song or who the best basketball player. Like, everything with us is, it's either this or it's that. But with the Babyface and Teddy thing, what people miss that was looking at it as a battle, I call it the blessed. Because we were literally blessed by the situation of seeing them two on the screen at the same time, as opposed to it being a battle. And when we look at it as a battle, now the meme or the way you view it is, oh, Babyface is better than Teddy, and Teddy, now that still creates a separation of saying, yo, that was a master class. If you looked at it as anything other than a master class, you really lost and didn't get out of it what you should have got out of.
Part of
This is a master class right now. What you do, the platform you created, like last week when you had your bias on, when you talk to different people, this is literally a master class every Tuesday and Thursday. And if people miss that,
wow.
it's crazy.
You were speaking about, so that's one of the codes of manhood, to be a supporter, to champion. And so when we're talking about competition, it should really be the opposite. We should be celebrating, that's the word. We should be celebrating two individuals. Before they can become a competition, somebody had to establish that these two individuals are great at something. So because they are great, why do we have to say that one is greater than the other instead of just celebrating the greatness of them both? Because none of us can say that Teddy, North Face, or in any other competition that we weren't influenced or they have not played a major part in our musical journeys.
Somebody asked why we
Drives you. Yes.
not creates dissension. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like it drives me to be the best. If you're gonna put me, Timberland, Swiss Beats, all on the same Rocky Jerkins, all on the same record, and I know they're on the record, when we start, you're gonna get a different animal out of me than you would saying, hey Marcus, you can produce the whole album. I'm gonna do a great job. But if I know they're here, it's a certain drive. Not that when I see them, there's dissension, and I don't want to be in the studio, and it's not that same thing. It's just it's a drive.
Gotcha.
Like me and you, I think too, you're one of the closest people in my life. But if you send me a song and you killed the first verse, it ain't that. It's a thing between us. It's like, oh Lord, okay, bro. It's a friendly competition. Just like with Teddy between them two, it was friendly. It was everybody else that took it and made it worse. Because you can hear between them two, it was a little brotherly, big brotherly, little brother competition too. You know what I mean? But they also knew what they were doing for the culture at the same time. They never lost sight of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Here we are, in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic. What are you doing, man? How are you holding up in Detroit? And you and I, we have very in-depth conversations. You like how I slid that in there, right? So what's life like in Marcus Devine's house? Like what's going on in your head? Like how are you coping during this COVID-19 quarantine time?
I'm actually good. I hurt more for other people than me. And when I say that is, I watch people move so much in fear that that's the part that hurts me more than anything. You know what I mean? COVID-19 don't scare me. Let me put that out there. Like it doesn't scare me like it does a lot of people. I understand what it is. You know what I mean? It is a virus, the whole time. But that's not the enemy. That's not what's killing us. The fear is killing us more than anything. So how am I moving? I move like I regularly move. Like, I'm at the studio today. Like, I won't tell everybody else. I ain't saying everybody else should do that. But, I'm good up here.
Mm-hmm.
And our conversations keep me sane. You know what I mean? Us talking every day keep me sane. So we good up here.
As a man, what up, Spice? My boy Spice Adams. What's up, Doc? One of the responsibilities of men is to protect, provide, and we are the ultimate leaders. What is it like try to put yourself in the minds of men all over this world who, yes, I want to stand firm in my belief and I don't want to operate in fear, but real talk, my movements may affect my children, my wife, my home, and all. So I can imagine the mental battles that are going through the minds of men all over this world. Talk about that.
I totally agree, bro. Especially a man like me, because the way I'm moving, or the way I want to move, I can't move like that because I do have a fiance that I ain't gonna say she's living in fear, but COVID is a little more real to her than it is to me. Like, you know what I mean? Watching the news, I feel like a lot of people watch the news because of program by the fear 12 do. Because I don't feel COVID is something that you get from me touching you or me seeing you. To say that is, you make the disease super smart. They tell you stay 6 feet apart. Does COVID have a measuring tape to say, yo, he's 6 feet. I can't mess with him. Oh, but he's only 5'4". I'm gonna get this. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't get caught up in all the stuff that the news tell you to do. If you don't even know how to fix it, you don't know how it got here, you don't have a cure, how do you know that 6 feet away that is gonna do something? How do you know how long it live in the air? If it ain't been here that long, how do you know? How do you know you did a study to see how long it stays on the surface? This is just information to scare you. So you 6 feet away from me, you sneeze. If it stays in the air for 20 minutes, damn it, when I walk 6 feet in front of me, that means it's in my face. Nobody thinks about that. That's all fear. And I look at us, bro, my heart hurt. I was driving, everybody got these masks on. You have to become bio-warfare to me. You're bio-warfare. Nothing in the air. You stay 6 feet away from me because you may do something to me. So with that thing, it's hard for me to live the way I live and still try to coexist with everybody else. That's a hard thing as a man. I know how you feel about certain things, but I know there's certain things you can't do in your home the same way I can't do in my home as a man. Because I want to tell my and go home and say, damn it, we going outside. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. She ain't been outside.
That right there is always, that's a tough space to operate in, because we are equipped to be able to say, yo, we're going left, and everybody go left. However, when you are in a relationship and you have to consider the others, you never want to just lead the people that you love into harm's way. And so this is why we have to have the brotherhood. This is why another man code, because nobody understands the pressure of wanting to do something as an individual, but having to operate in a space where now I got to be mindful of those that I am protective of and those that I am really accountable for and responsible for. And so that right there is an added pressure added to all the things that we have to think about as a whole on a daily basis. Now here comes COVID. Now we're having to face, okay, do I lead my family and my tribe the way that I would, or do I embrace a little bit of their comforts in our ultimate decision?
What makes it harder, and I think what you try to build with your platforms is what's more needed in situations like this. Because that's an individual decision when you say, I'm going to lead my family the way. But if we have more people who actually had conversations about what's really going on with the COVID-19, with the media, with the agenda, with the vaccine agenda, with all that, if we have more talks openly with us as brothers, then we create that united front that you say. It's hard for marketers to be like, man, it ain't nothing few. Oh man, that's something, and I'm by myself. Yeah, I gotta stay in the house with everybody else and do what everybody else do because I'm alone. But if we took a stand and did the research, that's number one. We can do the talk, but if we don't do the research and really find out what's going on, like most people don't even know that the Surgeon General got rid of the motto that Bill Gates and the CDC and the World Health Organization was using to even have us in the house. Most people don't even know that. That hasn't even been on national news. But that's the biggest news that's come out since COVID has been out. Because that's the model that has us in the house. That's the model that got y'all in Georgia scared to go to some
Question for you. Question for you. As a man, how do you lead? How do you lead effectively, knowing that you are going to be met with resistance?
This is a good question. This probably gonna be the best question you asked all day. It's hard. It's hard as hell. For the simple fact, I don't want to be a martyr.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not doing this to be a martyr. I don't speak out. I ain't trying to be Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. We see how that worked out for them. You know what I mean? It was their people who killed them. So with that being said, I still have to speak what I know is right. You understand what I'm saying? I still have to speak what I know is right and build up a resistance against the resistance. Like, you know what I'm saying? We may not agree on every subject or everything, you know what I mean? So, but understand what's important. The lives that I'm dealing with, the friendships I'm dealing with, the relationships I'm dealing with, that's the most important thing. So, if I keep that on the forefront, that's how I deal with the resistance. Like, I have to go, me and you don't agree with this, then what would this do to our brotherhood? If I know it'll be damaging, I gotta make a decision to be like, okay, don't talk about that. That ain't necessary to talk about that. Because it's not life or death. The only thing about the COVID is it can be life or death. You know what I mean? Depending on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the music industry, you know, a lot of younger guys come into the game, and I believe what's necessary is somewhat of a class. And I've been thinking of a way to even start this from a widespread. You know how when athletes enter into the NBA or into the NFL and they have like these classes on, you know, how to conduct yourself as an NBA player, and you know they talk about, you know, stay away from these things, don't indulge in these things, you know, take care of your body, make sure you're doing all of these things. So they have it's like a warm up session before you actually become day one professional. I think that there's something that we have to do also in the industry that we live in by preparing the young brothers for what this life holds. Part of being my brother's keeper is if I have some knowledge that's going to help you, it's called wisdom sharing. That's not an option, man. I'm required, if we're going to abide by top level manhood and man code. These are the things that we have to do. And a lot of times we're not doing this. And so we'll sit back and watch a young bro go through some stuff that I went through 10 years ago, where I could have prevented that by simply saying, hey, young bro, this is not what you want to do. This is what you want to do. Or if you can't have direct communication with them, live a life that would promote the way that you should handle business, handle people, and just be that example. What's up, Kay? No, Kay can do it. Kay can do it for real.
Like y'all had to
Yeah.
Think about that. No, my daddy, he didn't know, so he couldn't teach me. His daddy didn't know, he couldn't teach him. So it starts before you get to the level of saying, yo, he about to be the next best thing. You got to get home before in the 5th grade. But you know what I'm saying? To start teaching them like, yo, etiquette, like with your summer camp. That stuff that I like what you do with the kids. The etiquette that you teach in the summer camp, that's what sets them up so that when they do walk into the industry and you got some kind of knowledge of what you're walking into, because it's hard to go from the porch or from the park or from the alley to Sony or to Warner Brothers and think you're going to make great decisions. It's impossible. So I think it starts early in the game to say, yo, get them while they're young. I think I heard somebody say that, get them while they're young, and that's when you motivate. So I think that's the thing. Target them young, and they'll grow into that man that you want to see that will carry on the man code that you created today. Not the man code that we live by all those years and 9 years of killing the code. We was really screwing the code completely up. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, we literally gave the code away. Really, with the code, nigga, that's supposed to be secret when we hold like this, right? We literally gave the code away. We didn't even protect it. We didn't do anything. Now you living a life that you protecting the code and you sharing it with your brothers and not just giving it to everybody, which is dope. But that's I'm sorry.
How do you define, Marcus? How do you define I am my brother's keeper, and how necessary is iron sharpening iron?
That's the answer, actually. Like, your question is the answer. Iron sharpening iron. I can't cut through situations or whatever without being around somebody that's going to motivate me the way we motivate each other, that's going to hold me accountable, that sees me slipping. It could be something that I don't even see major. And you be like, hey, bro, you thought about doing such and such and such? Or such and such. Like, you call me, hey, man, how you feel about this? My feeling don't be like yours sometimes. And you be like, damn, I didn't think about it like that. That to me is sharpening iron, because now whatever information you got from me, you can use it to cut through that situation that you got to deal with through in life. You know what I mean? And the brotherhood, what was the first part? There was
How do you define I am my brother's keeper?
I am my brother's keeper. Safety, bro. That's one thing. And safety, you got to do whatever it takes to keep people safe sometimes. It ain't what they want all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you got a daughter, it's kicking that knucklehead dude out that you know don't mean it no good. Like, you know what I mean? So that's keeping her safe. So with your brother, when he want to be ha about that thing that he ain't got no business doing, you the one that ain't laughing saying, I think you're making a fool out of yourself. That's keeping your brother. That's not enticing your brother with the things you know they don't have no business want to indulge in. You know?
We sometimes, Marcus, we operate in a space of not wanting to be the outcast, right? And we spoke about the 5 qualities of manhood, and that being confident, critical, creative, comfortable, and collective. And so when I think about that top one, that first one that I said, confidence, manhood starts with confidence, because in order for you to uphold being your brother's keeper, you got to be confident enough to stand on the right side when everybody's on the left. Because it's not popular to say, nah, man, I'm not going, when everybody's saying, hey, yo, tonight we about to go turn up, dog. We finna go da-da-da-da-da. It ain't the popular decision to be, nah, man, I'm not going, and neither should you go. That's not popular. And so that confidence piece is really, really, really top line, man, because it takes a lot for a brother to be able to go against the popular. To stand on his own. A man that's not confident can't stand on his own. And sometimes standing on your own, you're standing on your own, but not only are you standing on your own, but you're standing on your own with the message. Not just, no, y'all shouldn't go because that's whack. Bro, you shouldn't go because X, Y, and Z. This is going to affect you this way. If you go, man, you're going to be held responsibility for bam, 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 bam. That confidence. And then we talk about being critical. How many brothers can you really be critical with? Because as men, the man code says, bro, I got to be able to tell you when you wrong, when you right. I'm going to love you when you right. But we're going to have the tough conversations. And so if I really, really want you to excel, not only am I going to say, nah, Marcus, that's not work, but I'm not going to say it like, yo, dog, that shit is whack. Like I'm not going to beat you up with my critical perspective. There's a way that I'm going to say, hey, yo, bro, there's another way you could do that. Hey, did you think about maybe going this route? Did you think about going that? And so if I'm being critical, you got to be in a way, you have to be in a way to where you can receive whatever, because like you said, there's a certain level of safety and security, right? Safety and security. And if we're having dialogue, we're having even exchange, right? You got to automatically know that whatever comes out of my mouth is not going to be to harm you or to get one up on you. Appreciate you, Bass. Critical, not accepting everything.
Being critical and being judgmental, there's a thin line.
Mm-hmm.
Between being critical and judgmental. Being judgmental is to say that you've never done it before, or you've never been there, or whatever. Being critical is living out of your experience of saying, I know where that's going to lead. So you approach the situation like that. But in brotherhood, and I know you use a whole lot of C's, but the top one for me would be a T. Trust. Without trust, your confidence, your critical thinking, your all of that don't mean anything if the person that you're talking to don't trust
you.
And then you know what I'm saying? That's number one. Like there's a certain trust that we have. Like Dre, you know how close me and Dre are. I talk to Dre, I don't care what I say to Dre. He knows me. And then he's saying it because he loves me. There's a certain trust that has to happen. So when I speak into your life, I'm telling you something to keep you from running into that brick wall up there that you don't see. That I ran into before. Or whatever, like, you know what I mean? So I think it's a certain level of trust before we can even get to all of those T's. Because even me being confident, I can be confident all day. If you don't trust what I'm saying, it doesn't matter.
The beauty about these man codes, we have a basis of how we define them. However, you just added another word that helps you or keeps you leveled enough to operate and abide by a certain level of codes. And so whereas Dr. Bass and I came up with these 5 C's, you added a T on it because you're right. In addition to all of those things, if I can't trust you, I'm not going to be vulnerable. And that's a part of the process. Allow yourself, give me entrance, basically. I don't know if I can help you. I don't know how to help you if I don't know fully what's going on.
You said the word vulnerable. And it just made me think of something. I remember the first time I had you come to Detroit when I did my birthday concert. And that was the first time you saw me perform. And I remember you said, because you saw me, I told everybody in the audience, I love all the dudes. And you was like, dog, I ain't never seen that before. Like, then you just, like, to see men tell, like you love them. Like, I do that from the stage. It's a certain If you love me,
If you love me, you love me. Period.
if you love me, you love me. Don't do that. You just put some on it. You literally just put some unnecessary on it. Just love it. And that's why I watch you. I watch how you love old guys. And watch how you love your brothers, United, all of that. Man, that's, to me, that's incredible, bro. That's incredible.
Wow.
Man, Cole, everything that you shoot for, that's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And women need to see that. Because we're the target. We're the target. Everybody else can flourish. As long as we don't flourish, the world, and I don't want to put no color on it, but the world is okay as long as we're not flourishing. Yeah, take care of our women as long as we don't have nothing to do with it. We're the target. So what you're doing in your platform is definitely what's needed.
Well, I'm going to edit that, what we're doing, because I'm one of the many of us that are out here, championing men, championing brothers. And so that brings to my mind that last C that we mentioned, collective. Bro, the power of when we man together, right? It's almost like, this just came to my mind. Man your battle station. It's right there in the word. Like, man your battle station.
Battle station. That is crazy.
Protect it.
That's crazy.
Man your battle station.
Battle station. Yeah.
So imagine if I just stand there by myself, don't come in here. You do not have access. But there's a certain level of confidence that even I get as an individual when I know, like I can, prime example. My son he plays baseball, and I've been just on him. Man, let's get a regimen. Give me some consistency. Show up for yourself. You can't just do what's required. The edge is gotten when you do what you do before practice and the time you put in afterwards. And so I know what I was saying. I felt very confident in what I was saying because I'm an athlete myself. So I know the process, and I've worked hard in my career. So I know the process of the extra work and the hard work. But it meant something different when I called one of my friends, Ulrich Johnson, former NFL Super Bowl champ. I said, yo, OJ, hey, yo, talk to Q. He reiterated the same things I felt, but I knew collectively it was going to penetrate a little bit more. So imagine if the mindset of all the men everywhere was, not only am I going to do this by myself, but let me align with somebody who think the same way that I'm thinking. And then together we go and push this objective. I was telling people, man, we could have done the bridge project by ourselves. And man, thank you for your contribution to the bridge project, man. You, Eric Dawkins, Big Mac, everybody. But we could have focused during that session on just a Q Parker project. And I could have sang them same songs. Man, My Brother's Keeper, Scars, I Need You, Made For. I could have done all of those myself. But doesn't it feel more powerful to be able to, man, I take pride, Marcus, in being able to say, yo, it's 55 of us saying, I need you. It's 55 of us, bro. 55 guys together in the same uniform, in unison, harmonizing, in sync sonically. Bro.
55 people with platforms.
Duck.
Think about that. It ain't just 55 dudes. It's 55 people with platforms that if they all embrace the vision, it would be incredible, insane.
Wow. So.
The man in the battle station thing, I don't want to go back to that, but the man in the battle station thing, you know how we do. We hear something good. It's a double thing. Man in your battle station. And when they're not in place, hey man, your battle station. You follow what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a double thing. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just, man, go ahead, bro.
Wow. No, man. Listen. Unfortunately, man, you and I, we can go on and on and on and on and on. But man, give everybody your social handles, promote what you got going on right real quick before we get out of here.
Like I said, Marcus Devine, the Heat
I love it. Well, bro, I can tell you and I ain't got to preface it with nothing on top of it, behind it. Yo, man, I love you, man. And I appreciate you being on here. AP, what's up, my guy?
What up, AP?
Dr. Bass, what's going on, man? I love you. I thank you. But, man, as I always say, Marcus, and you know how we feel about this, man, to all the men in the world, globally, wherever you are, no matter the circumstance or the situation, man, identify with the new level of man code and uphold the man code. And whatever you do, keep it 100.
Mancode 100.
Hey, man, I love you, man, and I appreciate you, Doc. Love you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Always keep your head up, no success, it ain't far away. No matter how hard it gets, yeah, don't let time pass by. You know somebody's watching you, they learning something new. The weight has got you sinking, the pressure got you thinking. You're feeling like you're stuck, but you gotta move on and know. Yeah. When you're feeling down and you wanna give up, just know.